Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to make a quick video today since Clay recently came out with this GPT vision model integration and show you some of the ways that we've used it so far. We haven't used it in a bunch of different ways, but I thought these were two interesting use cases on how we've applied it so far. And to give you context, the client that we built these campaigns for, they are a creative agency and they produce all different types of creative assets from like animated display ads, packaging mechanicals, motion graphics and video. So they have a bunch of different capabilities. And the way that we segment the market for them for campaigns at like more of a macro level is that we've got agency campaigns and then we have brand campaigns. And then there's different segments within there, but that's like the big picture on how their campaigns are designed. And the reason I tell you that is because I'm showing you two different use cases here. One is for an agency campaign, then the other is for a brand campaign specifically for e-commerce companies. And so on this first one, this is the agency campaign, and it's actually a list of agency Google partners that we scraped. And so it's like an agency to agency type of play. And so with a lot of these agency websites, one of the challenges that we've seen with just basic like scrape website integrations that you can use in Clay is that a lot of these, especially more creative agencies, they don't have a ton of text on their site. It's all visual, for lack of a better term. And so it can be hard to scrape the site and get really any kind of like meaningful text or information that you can use to then generate personalization. And so I was excited when the GPT vision models came out because I was like, this might be an interesting way to analyze the sites. And so for this campaign in specific, I won't go through the whole table just to keep this a little more consumable. And on this specific example, we first segmented the agencies down by whether or not they provide creative as a service. So the way that we see it, there's like this basic segmentation of like performance marketing agencies where they just provide almost like ad management and campaign management. So they will just run your Facebook ads or whatever, and they don't provide any creative. Then there's like full service agencies that do the creative production and the performance side of the house. And then there's just purely creative agencies. And so we use AI and web scraping to help segment the agencies down into different buckets for messaging. And then from there, if they do provide creative, what we were trying to see specifically for this campaign was based on like the services that they offer, what are like the most common types of creative assets that they might be making for their clients so that we could then use that as an angle for the agency to agency play. It's like, hey, you guys must be making a whole bunch of static display ads. Do you guys create all of that in-house or do you use freelancers? And so we can kind of enter the conversation in a more relevant and personalized way. And with the GPT or with scraping the website, there's a couple of problems like I was talking about before where it's like it's hard to get reliable text that you can use to like get that kind of insight on the company. And then even like trying to pull in the sitemap, it's unreliable in Clay with a lot of these sites. And then even still like these agencies really segment or they like structure their websites differently. So we haven't found a good solution specifically for that, but using GPT Vision, I actually found that it did a pretty good job. And so what we did is if they provided creative, they then had this enrichment here. And the first thing that we're doing, it's actually the prompting is like pretty simple. We're just like taking a screenshot of the website and then it's like, tell me the specific type of creative assets you think this agency produces for their clients. And like we already know that they produce creative assets because we've already bucketed them with another step here. And it actually does a pretty good job and it pulls in like a lot and it's able to see all the different like services that they provide. And then it explains the types of creative assets that they are most likely to be creating for those different services. And then we feed that summary into OpenAI again to generate the personalization. And it's just like a really brief observation. It's structured like this. It looks like you produce a lot of animated display ads and social media content. So I'll show you the prompt for this one. Write a personalized line for a cold email using the template language I provide you. Here's the template. Do not include any quotes in your completion. In the make section of the template, use information I provide you about the business to make the best guess about the types of creative assets that the company produces for their clients. Pick 2 types of creative assets for your personalization. Be as specific as possible. Yeah, so like one of the things is to be like, oh, they help with creative strategy. And it just like wasn't a good enough like personalized line to really make it like the use case that we were trying to pitch in the cold cold email. So we had to prompt out, using creative strategy or website design, give it some high level examples. We gave it like some options to choose from that our client specifically does to kind of help narrow in what it gives us. We gave it limits on the amount of words it could add into the template for the personalization. Don't write any other parts of the email. Keep the writing conversational, casual, and concise. Don't provide me with a completion until you've double checked your work. So kind of basic prompting stuff. And it does a pretty good job. So we are just launching these, so I'm not 100% sure how they're going to do, but I thought it was like an interesting use case. One of the things that I learned for this next one, so actually this next use case is for e-commerce companies. And so for this use case, we got the list from a list of people who are attending a CPG event in a couple of months, and then we segmented those down to find the actual CPG companies because there's non-CPG companies going to the event. And then from there, what we tried to do was use GPT vision to describe the branding of the CPG company as a whole, but then also describe the packaging that they're using for their products. And one interesting thing, it actually took me a while, and I was getting really pissed off with like GPT vision with this because it was like, oh, I can't help you with this task. And I was asking it initially to do an analysis. I was like, oh, describe the packaging and give me an analysis of like their branding. And what I guess I ended up figuring out is like almost like more subjective tasks that could be associated with like viewing an image. It's not going to comply with, which the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. If you like uploaded pictures of people and you're like, come up with a meme description, you could do all kinds of like terrible stuff with these AI models if they were just like kind of free reign. So it took a while to like figure out what is like the right way to go about this. And I'll show you. It's still not like honestly the most reliable. So we run all these prompts and then our team has to go back in and look for any areas where there were errors to rerun, and then it does it properly. But yeah, it's like, oh, we had to prompt this out. I was like, I can't make any assumptions, or like, I can't help with this like kind of subjective task. So I had to be like, don't make any assumptions. Tell me what products are in this picture, describe them visually and objectively. And then we just fed in the website. And so provides a pretty good description of the entire web page. And we then feed that information into OpenAI again to generate a personalized line about their branding and the packaging. And it's like a very topical kind of visual like compliment, but it makes sense for the use case because we're parlaying that into a pitch about creative and branding and packaging. So I'll show you. I love how you're visually communicating the natural ingredients with your color coordinated packaging. So kind of funny personalization, but that's all I got. That's how we're using it so far. And if you have used it in any interesting ways, I'd love to hear about your use cases in the comment down below. If you found this video interesting or valuable, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot. But other than that, that is all I got for you. I wish you the best of luck, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.